you being condescending. Alright? Let's move forward amicably.
Okay, well, check this out, though. First of all, you're throwing too many big words at me. Okay, now, because I don't understand them, I'm gonna take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth and help me with the say.
Okay, see, now you found yourself a nigga. You looking for a nigga? Nigga here now, see?
My mind is so spectacular. Open up your aperture. You don't like the light that I be shining, bitch, you Dracula. Southern draw vernacular. Flip you like a spatula. Knew that I was built to put this word up on my scapula. I've been on this road so long, my tires bald. I don't wanna text and no, I don't wanna call. Came in this shit running, but you don't know how to crawl. We ain't never folding, I'm holding the highest card. Look, okay, grew up running post routes. Now I'm on the cash route. Better call the plumber, that boy spitting like a bass spout. All these bad women in this club, fuck is you mad about? Word to all my estheticians, boy, I'm about to lash out. Straight from St. John's to the east side. Jigging since the knee high. Watch the way I put on for my state, nigga, yeehaw. Respecting no everything. Crazy how I made it to the league from the bleach eyes. Boy, my shit hair wrong. Black, rich, and bare arms. Smoking on that yogi, this shit stronger than some bare arms. Goku, I'm in rare form. You cannot prepare for him. When I swing, it's like a carnival. This shit ain't fair for him. Brought intellect back to this rap shit. You niggas need chapstick. Shit been dry for way too long, and I'm the matchstick. You niggas Nickelodeon me. I'm more like Cap Nick. Cap a nigga, throw him in front of me. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said that I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. About to blow like we just lit the fuse. We double dutch into this dough, I get this shit in twos. Push the button, get it started, put that shit in cruise. A little dust up on his heart, I barely get to use. A fool flatters himself, a wise man flatters the fool. Man, I just came to get it started like mechanics with tools. Cause in my hood, if you don't pack a tool, you planning to lose. These young boys deserve Oscars, they be acting a fool. A couple loose screws, but they hammer accurate. Ooh, I know some niggas stuck on drugs and manufacture it too. School of hard knocks, we all got our bachelor's. Fool, no cap and gowns, but we all had the master. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said it, I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh wax, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopping, we don't even need no brake lights. Say she don't smoke, but she always smoke with me, yeah. Backwards in the air, back up in the ovaries, yeah. All my ops, they stay running like they over easy, yeah. Even my masseurs can't just get too close to me, yeah. Shout out to Next, soon as the ink dry, we count out the checks, yeah. I never flex, I bought up a business, you bought up a section. I'm at the top of my class, yeah. Y'all never learned from your lesson. Skywalker gave me the force, yeah. Turn this into an obsession, yeah. I couldn't wait on the team, cooking shit up with just me and play, yeah. Things never are what they seem, but we know the facts, yeah. Charging that shit to the game, but now I pull up with a battery pack, yeah. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and we can just leave it at that. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh wax, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopped and we don't even need no brake lights. Big bro, why they call you big bro? Every time we hit the bank, we deposit zip codes. Well connected with the streets like we out in Skid Row.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button. Y'all come in here, hit the share, subscribe, hit that Cash App, $Slick Rick 1991 Son, $Slick Rick 1991 Son for all of our, information, as well as, donate to the podcast. Go to our Cash App. Venmo is at BJ/MATHEWS/1. BJ/MATHEWS/1. That is our Venmo. Super stickers and super comments are available as well. All you gotta do is hit that button in the bottom right-hand corner. You guys can go ahead and donate that way by being a part of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast for the rest of your life. Let's get it popping. All right, so we're gonna have a little short little video. We have a video interview dropping in a few hours. I will be having with a guy by the name of Clipper Soul. He is one of the main entertainers for the Pull Up Basketball, for the the Pull Up Basketball for the Clippers. He's a person that does a lot of entertainment, and he's a person that gets a chance to really be around the players. I got a chance to see him at many of the games last year, so it was a great honor. Being around him. Again, his name is Clipper Soul. All my Clipper fans, know who he is. They've, been around him. They've seen him, on the Jumbotron. And, of course, they've seen him around certain players and things of that nature. So he will be gracing the podcast in approximately about 2.5, 3 hours. Actually, no, 3.5 hours. I'm tripping. At 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be a great time with him. But before we get into that, we're going to go into something that just dropped actually overnight, going into this morning. And that is Mr. Joel Embiid signing an extension for the Philadelphia 76ers for 3 years, $193 million. As y'all can see right here, photo, Joel Embiid, 76ers agreed to a contract extension, rumored to be 3 years, $193 million. Now, we've seen not just him, but a few of the other players, guys like, Tyrese Maxey signed that 5-year, I think 200 and something million deal. I don't know how much it was, in the twos somewhere, but he signed a 5-year, $200 something million deal. He's obviously their future in Philadelphia. You got PG obviously signed that 4-year, $212 million deal coming from free agency this past summer. You guys signed guys like Caleb Martin. They signed Andre Drummond. They signed, Reggie Jackson. They signed Eric Gordon. They signed the guy over in France. As I've said before, I think Philadelphia had the best offseason as far as acquisitions that they signed, which brings me into this subject right here with Joel Embiid signing this deal and what I have to say about the title. And that's Joel Embiid has the most pressure of any NBA player this season, upcoming season. So with him signing the $393 million deal, he made a post on his Instagram saying, Philadelphia is home. I want to be here for the rest of my career. I love this community and everything you've given me and my family. There's a lot more work to do. You guys deserve a championship, and I think we're just getting started. Trust the process. All right, as y'all can see, that's Joel Embiid's Instagram right there. And it looks like his son and his wife is right beside him. And the other side looks like probably his agent or somebody with the Sixers, him signing his contract. So Rick and I will be doing a show actually tomorrow, speaking upon, players getting these deals. And, there's a lot of chatter about guys who are not deserving of certain contracts. And I think, it's a good time for us to really kind of break down how to determine who's deserving of what. Because it just seems like to me, when a player gets a deal, you got a lot of people saying, well, that player don't deserve that. He's not worth that. How do you get that? Da, 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 da. But they don't really look at all the factors and understand the business side of why these guys are getting these deals. So we're going to get into that tomorrow. It's going to be a fun topic, so make sure y'all pull up for that. But this is about Joel Embiid. So he signs a 3-year, $193 million deal. Looks like he said Philadelphia is his home. He wants to spend the rest of his career in Philadelphia. They deserve a championship, all that great stuff, right? Now, yesterday I did a video on players who need to be held accountable for coming up short who only had one great year successfully as far as winning a championship or making a deep run into the playoffs, and then acting like as they're a top 5 player. Those guys get the benefit of the doubt, but players who've been doing it for a long period of time over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, they seem to get pushed out in the back burner, right? Guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, SGA, Luka Doncic, um, who's the fifth guy, and then Joel Embiid, right? Joel Embiid. These guys are what you call they're the top 5 players in the NBA, and yes, a couple of them have won championships, Jokic and Giannis. But when I see these players get this high prestige as they just never can relinquish their spot, even though they have only 1 year as far as winning a championship and taking their team to the finals, that to me screams a little bit of a problem, because what you have is a league that seems to be rewarding statistics and regular season stats over winning. When you look at a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's not made it past the second round since 2021 for 3 straight years, and you want to still call this man a top 3, top 4 player, well, you got to look at what is the other players doing around him, and what makes Giannis Antetokounmpo keep his spot when he's getting pushed out against teams that, quote unquote, are not as better as Milwaukee throughout the years. He's another person to me that has a lot of riding on this season as well. It's time for Giannis to come back to get his throne. Nikola Jokic won his championship in 2023. Obviously, that's a guy, people look as the best player in the league. When I say he got eliminated by Anthony Edwards this past year, and the way Denver's moving right now, they're starting to look like a one-hit wonder. They're looking like as a team that probably ain't going to get back to the finals, in my personal opinion. Those are Giannis and Nikola Jokic. Back in my day, I feel like with the Kobe's, LeBrons, the Tim Duncans, the Dwayne Wades, those guys every single year were competitive for the most part. Yeah, you might have some few years where they, hit a dry spell or a dry spot, might have not make it out the second round or whatever. But for the most part, you can find in their careers them getting to the playoffs and making conference finals appearance after conference finals appearance, NBA finals appearance multiple times. Jokic has been in the league for 9 seasons. Giannis has been in the league for 11 seasons. So they're not babies. It's time for these. If you want to put these guys in that type of prestige, then they have to do this consistently, not just 1 year. Right? That's why I called them one-hit wonders. Luka, one-hit wonder. Had a great year this year, but he's been in the league for 7 seasons. Let's see if he can continuously do that over and over. And let's see if he can do that when certain guys are not healthy or not hurt. And the guy I'm talking about is Kawhi Leonard, who seems to, always get the upper hand on Luka Doncic. So that's the type of standards I hold for those type of players if you want to put them top 5. But guys like Jason Tatum, who's been doing it year in and year out, who's been to 5 conference finals, 2 NBA finals, and has 3 All-NBA first teams in a row for 7 straight seasons, in 7 seasons, that is what you call dominating as an individual and as your team. Right? And if you're going to bring up to me it's a team sport, that's fine, but you have to understand the person that's the best player on the squad gets the majority of the credit, just like he gets the majority of the blame. So we can't say it's a team sport to just negate guys from accountability. And that's my only point. But let me get back to Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is up as far as the most pressured superstar this upcoming season. Why is that? Because the same hashtag he has right here, trust the process, is the same reason why I have him in that position. Joel Embiid's been in the league for 8 going on 9 seasons. He has not made out the second round. He's been, whether that be because of injuries or whether that be because of unperforming at not as a high level. That's what Joel Embiid's had to deal with. I have the Sixers coming out the Eastern Conference. Yes, I do. I have them coming up the Eastern Conference over Boston and New York. I don't think Boston has a strong bench. Yes, they won a championship this year. Yes, they have a great starting five. Yes, they're going to be coming in this season with motivation. They're going to come in with a level of confidence, a level of relief to finally get over the hump. That's going to probably, you know, contribute to them playing better throughout the regular season or in the playoffs. But I do think there's holes on Boston. I think their bench is very, very delicate. You got Peyton Pritchard, you got Xavier Tillman, you got Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know if he's coming off. I think he is coming off the bench. Those are good, solid players from, but after that it gets pretty dry. You got Lonnie Walker. They just signed as well. I think he can be a sharp shooter, a sharp scorer coming off the bench. But I think Philadelphia can match their bench and their starting five. I think if they face in the playoffs, that Joel Embiid will be the best player in the postseason in the Eastern Conference. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like Philadelphia has the upper hand. Yes, the Celtics beat them in 2023, but you got to remember Joel Embiid was dealing with injury in that series as well. Not to give him an excuse, but like I'm saying, healthy and this amount of motivation I think that the Sixers have around him, the team that they have around him. I mean, you looking at a team with, multiple, scores. You got some good defenders. You have players like, Tyrese Maxey, who's going to be coming off, a year in the playoffs where he's very confident in himself. It just seems like to me it's more of a better fit than what we saw previous years. Paul George is going to come in a system, like I've said before, where he's going to be able to play his game, not to, be out of position and, have to deal with a guy, a point guard, just, hogging the ball and not really, making him part of the offense, taking the ball out of his hands, right? He's going to be able to play defense at his position, not have to worry about protecting the rim, not worrying about at all times, not worrying about having to, um, playing an offense where there's no real system. And I think you're going to see a more better version of. I think PG last year was great, but I think this is going to be the team where he's actually going to learn how to play basketball, which is what he relayed on his podcast. He wanted to be able to learn how to play the right way, and that's what's going to contribute to his efficiency. That's going to contribute to his game and how he gets his shots off. The pace he play, like it's going to contribute to a lot of things. So Philadelphia against Boston, I got Philadelphia. Philadelphia against the Knicks, it's the same thing. You're going to have Joel Embiid as the best player in that series. I mean, you averaged 35 points last year or 34 points last year in the playoffs against New York when he was actually dealing with an injury then or being hurt. Tyrese Maxey averaged 28 points against the Knicks last year. The Knicks, to me, are a good team, a bunch of good players with no superstar, with no star. Jalen Brunson is an up-and-coming star, but he has limitations as well. They have great defense, but I think the Sixers have enough defense and offense both ways, and they have more better stars to offset the Knicks, to overwhelm them. But let me get into Joel Embiid real quick. One of Joel Embiid people have a problem with is him in the postseason. Now, like I just mentioned earlier, and y'all come here and smash that like, but like I mentioned earlier, Joel Embiid, when you talk about his playoff performances, he's been in the league for 8 seasons. I looked a little bit deeper on what he's been doing the last 8 years in the postseason. What's this trust the process? What it really means? Well, he's averaged 24.9 points per game, 10.9 rebounds, and 3.1 assists in 59 games in his playoff career. Okay, now context. When you look at the series and you look at the years he's been in the postseason, this is what we're looking at. 2017, 2018 was his welcome to the playoffs. Right, that was his welcome to the NBA. Like I said, Joel Embiid for the most part has been going to the second round and going home. He's just for whatever reason he has not been able to get out of that second round hump. Right, from 2017 all the way to now, he has not made it out the second round. Now, if you look at these every single season, you have to distinguish between him being hurt and him having to deal with and him just not being able to perform at the highest moments. 2017, 2018, I won't put too much stake into that. He was his first welcome in. He's a rookie, even though he averaged 21 points per game in 2017, 2018. I would not put too much stake into that run. What I will start with is 2018, 2019, where they went to the conference semifinals against the Toronto Raptors, and they were actually favored. Yes, favored against the Raptors, who were a team that were just newly assembled with Kawhi Leonard getting there, right? The Raptors were looked at as a team, not as a team that was, basically not able to get over the hump when it came to the big moments. And the man on the screen is the one that offsetted all that. I did a video on DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry just last week about this whole, the Raptors were so playoff ready. They were so championship ready. All they got to do is worry about LeBron getting out the East. Well, the problem is that the Raptors were not just losing to LeBron James and the Cavaliers. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards 2 years in a row before they started losing to Cleveland. So it wasn't just LeBron James that was the problem. They were not ready to take over the Eastern Conference. DeMar DeRozan is not a first option if you want to get to the finals. He's just not. He proved that over and over in Toronto. He had great regular seasons, but when it came to the postseasons, individually and team-wise, they were not able to get over the hump. They got to the conference finals one time in Toronto, and they got swept that same time in 2016, 17, if I'm not mistaken. Either 2016, 2017, or 2017, 2018. One of those two. They got swept. 3 straight years they lost to the same team in Cleveland. And I bring that up to bring this up. This whole Raptors were supposed to be so favored over Philadelphia, and they were this, that, and the other. That's completely trash. That's completely false. What they were was a team that was led by this man on the screen and got them over the hump and got them to the promised land. And if DeMar DeRozan was in that situation against Golden State, I do not believe they would have got to the finals and beat Golden State. So what I'm saying is that that's who Joel Embiid had to face in 2019. And in that series against the Toronto Raptors, he underperformed in that series, and they blamed it on him being sick and him being, not feeling well, but he played. He was playing. It seemed like to me it wasn't really an injury. It was more so just him not feeling well, stomach problems or something of that nature. When in reality, Marc Gasol was playing superb defense, and not just him, but the Raptors defense in total. That Raptors defense was A1. You had Marc Gasol, you had Serge Ibaka, you had Pascal Siakam, who was learning how to play defense. And then you had Kawhi Leonard, the best defender on the court. You had Kyle Lowry, you had Fred VanVleet. That Danny Green, you had that entire defense locked in. And Joel Embiid did not perform at the highest level he could have. That was his second year in the playoffs. People hold that against him. 2019, 2020 in the bubble, he came together statistically, but they got swept in 4 games against the Boston Celtics. He averaged 30 points per game that series. And let me make sure I understand what he shot. I want to leave this out as well. He scored 30 points per game and 12 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.3 blocks. So as far as the statistics go, they were superstar statistics, but he got swept. But so people don't really hold that against them because it just seemed like to me Boston had the better team. As y'all come in there, smash that like button. Smash that like button as y'all come up in here. So that was the third year in the playoffs against Boston, got swept. 2020, 2021, right? That was the year they lost to the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games on their home court. Joel Embiid averaged 28 points per game in that entire playoff run. They make sure I got this right as well. 28 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.0 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Statistically, he did very, very well. But if you guys watch that series, especially in that game 7, Ben Simmons got the bulk of the blame, but Joel Embiid had a part in that as well, and he was healthy. He was healthy that series. They had no reason to lose to Atlanta Hawks. They had no business losing to Atlanta Hawks team led by Trae Young on their home court. Philadelphia was the number 1 seed that year in the Eastern Conference, led by Doc Rivers. They had no business losing that series against the Atlanta Hawks. That was their opportunity to get to the finals that one year, because I think they could have beat Milwaukee. They could have beat them, in my personal opinion. 2022, they lose to the Miami Heat. Joel Embiid comes back from injury, averaging 23 points per game, right? Games 3 and 4. He leads them to 2 wins, 10.7 assists, 10.7 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 0.4 steals, and 0.8 blocks. That was underperforming, but he was dealing with the injuries. He was at least playing, but he was dealing with some injuries. So what I'm doing right now is kind of outline every single year this man's been to the postseason and see how much of a playoff choker he is from what he actually is as a player. If he can. So we were at 2022. Now, what y'all are looking right now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5 years in the postseason for Joel Embiid up into 2022. So the last one I just echoed was him going up against the Miami Heat. They losing to 6 games. But no one was blaming Joel Embiid in that series because he was coming back from injury. I think it was from his face. I think in the previous series against the Toronto Raptors, they swept them. And then was it the Raptors or was it the Nets? Yeah, it was the Raptors. They swept them 4-0. And Embiid was coming back from injury. So they saw him come back from injury, and he actually led them 2 games against Miami Heat in games 3 and 4, and then they lose games 5 and 6 against Miami. That happened in 21-22. And then last year in 22-2023, or the 2 years ago, 22-2023, they lose to the Boston Celtics in in 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they lost to the Boston Celtics in 7 games. Now, that was a series he was coming back from injury, but the game 7 closeout, he was actually dealing with he actually did not close that game out. He's supposed to close it out. And then 2024, which was just this past year, he actually in 6 games they lost to the who did they lose to this past year? I'm tripping. Somebody help me out. They lost to the Knicks. That's right. They lost to the Knicks, and Joel Embiid averaged 33 points in that series. So I named all the different series that they played in. All Joel Embiid's playoff runs. He's been to the playoffs. What is this? 7 seasons. He's played into the playoffs. He's participated in the playoffs 7 years. So like I told y'all yesterday, these guys aren't rookies. These guys aren't second-year players. They're not third-year players. They're not fourth. These guys are established NBA stars. Damn near you could consider vets. Joel Embiid's 31 years old. He's in his prime. You can arguably say he's still in his peak. Because statistically, really last year was his best statistic year in the postseason. With what he averaged as far as his numbers. I mean, 33 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists, right? 0.8 steals, 1.7 blocks. And he was doing it while being injured. So he was productive. Now, if I was to look at this and look at all the playoffs combined together and how he's been in the postseason, marking the performances marked in with the injuries and being hurt certain years, I would give him a C. I would give Joel Embiid a C. If you want to give me all that bunched into one, I would give Joel Embiid a C for his playoff career. So when you look at things in a nutshell, you kind of can say, okay, well, there is some hope there. It ain't like he's been trash individually for his entire career. It ain't like he's been healthy every single run in his career. And the times he's even been hurt, dealing with injuries, you've seen him come back from injuries, play through it, and even play well. In 2022 against the Heat, he played well in games 3 and 4 to get them back into the series. Right? In 22 and in 23, 2024, he was dealing with the injury with one leg. He played his best playoffs. It's ironic he played his best playoffs in that year. I'm not going to give y'all 18, 19. I think 2018, 2019 was just him, the pressure getting to him. And he couldn't deal with Toronto's defense. But that was his second year in the playoffs, in the postseason. So I'll give that somewhat of I'll take that in consideration. It wasn't like he was established. If he did that now or within the last 3 seasons, then yeah, I have something to say. But there was you can name about 2-3 times, Joel Embiid's been into the postseason coming in hurt or dealing with some type of, pretty extravagant injury. So that's why I kind of put it in where I say Philadelphia can come in and come out the East because you really have the best player in the Eastern Conference. Individually, he's better than Jason Tatum. He's better than Tyrese Halliburton. He's better than Jalen Brunson. The 2 players who I would say would meet his match would be Jimmy Butler and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think Joel Embiid affects the game more than Jimmy Butler all around for what he can do and his gravity on the court. Yes, they faced one time in 2022, but you got to remember, like I said, Joel Embiid was doing it, and he was doing it hurt. He came back into the series midway and got 2 games for Philadelphia, and that's with James Harden, his second start, pretty much being a shell of himself. I think he averaged 13 points that series against the Miami Heat. They pretty much locked him up, but James Harden was dealing with a lingering hamstring injury that kind of, left him hampered for like a whole season. Y'all remember that year after he came back against the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs? He was dealing with a grade 2 hamstring injury, which he shouldn't have even been on the court. That lingered him going into the next season in 21-22 against with the Philadelphia 76ers. That entire season, he just looked like he was. People were saying James Harden pretty much was washed, and then all of a sudden this year with the Clippers, he looks like a whole different animal. He led us to that. We had that 25-6 run with him, right? And it looked like James Harden was getting his mojo back. He's getting his step back on the court. The year before he came to us, he led the league in assists. I think he averaged 22 points per game. And then people say, well, damn, what happened? Well, I thought James Harden, he didn't look nothing like this season before that. Well, that's because he was doing a hamstring injury. And those videos that dealt with hamstring injuries understand those things linger if you do not give them the proper rest and the proper treatment. And if you play on that shit, you're going to make it even worse. And that's what he was trying to do, play through that injury. Harden's another one I got to give credit to. He does play through, injuries and knickknacks. He for the most part is durable. But that injury he played through, right before right after he left the Nets going to the Sixers, that lingered on to his performance that entire season. But I digress from that. That's what Joel Embiid had to deal with in that playoff series against the Miami Heat. So, me personally, this is probably the best team he has around him. I think this team is even better than that 2018-2019 team. Because what you have is you have a better Joel Embiid. You have a Paul George who, quite intents and purposes, is their best wing they didn't had in the Joel Embiid era. Better than Tobias Harris. Better than who else would be considered a wing? Well, that's the main guy. That JJ Redick. Better than Ben Simmons as a second option, yes. You have a better version of, the best wing they didn't have. And you got Tyrese Maxey, who's one of the best young point guards in the league. And according to Hoops Hype, he's a top 15 player. Now, of course, I don't agree with that. But Tyrese Maxey right now is is in his fourth season, going on his fourth year. He's about to take another leap. He got his money, got his pay, and he's going to be a person that it looks like, that Joel Embiid trusts, Paul George seems to trust. And then you surround that with all those, defensive guys like Kelly Oubre, like Caleb Martin, right? Paul George is a two-way player as well. You got defensive coach Nick Nurse, vice versa, offensive coach Doc Rivers. They done changed. To be honest with you, the Sixers really last year, I think, the year when I think was it last year or was it the year before? It was. I think it was last. Yeah, it was last year when they had that team with Joel Embiid. They had that team up to the top 4 seed in the season, and then Joel Embiid got hurt. If he was healthy for the majority of that season last year, I think the Sixers could have got to the conference finals. So they have changed their DNA under Nick Nurse. So you have the players now to match it. That's why I got the Sixers coming out the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid, I think the choking all the time to me is a little bit overstated. I mean, again, I think the only time you can really say he really underperformed healthy was in 2018, 2019, and then the year against the Celtics in 2023, where even, he was coming back from injury then, but he was on the court in Game 7, where I think he had 14 points. But that's my personal opinion. Joel Embiid has the most pressure this year to at least get them to the conference finals. But I think the Sixers will get them. I think they'll get to the finals. I don't see a team. I think the Knicks, to me, they have to prove more to me to say that they're going to even be in that company. The Celtics are the champions, yes, but I think they can be beaten. The Bucks, I think they'll be better. With the addition of Gary Trent Jr., I think they'll be better. But we'll see. How Giannis and Dame, come together. And then you got Indiana, who's an offensive, juggernaut, but they're not going to be able to make any noise. Miami Heat, it's a little bit interesting with them because you can never really count them out because they've been one of the teams, like I said before, has been one of the most consistent teams in the Eastern Conference. So you got to give them that. You got to give them that benefit of the doubt when Jimmy Butler is healthy on the court. But when I look at Philadelphia and what they've built and what the team that they have around the best player individually in the conference, arguably, even him and Giannis, it's between him and Giannis. But I think Embiid's game will translate better in the playoffs than Giannis's game because Giannis's inability to shoot, make free throws, everything's downhill, go to the basket. You're not going to be able to do that to Joel Embiid, who's bigger, stronger than you. Giannis Antetokounmpo takes advantage of players who yet are his size or smaller, or guys who are bigger than him or not as quick and fast. When Giannis has to deal with Embiid this year, and with the help he has around him, Giannis ain't gonna just be going into that paint and just dunking and slamming on him. Nick Nurse is not going to allow that to continuously happen over and over and over. So, congratulations to the Sixers, Joel Embiid, for locking in this deal. This actually, to me, shows that they're trying to give this man really 3 years to win a championship. The same way they gave him Paul George the 4-year contract, they gave Tyrese Maxey the 5-year contracts. They're having their core players. They're giving them 3 years to win a championship. That's the window, 3 years. So if they can win a championship within these 3 years, then it's going to be successful. They only need one championship. Now, Embiid's talking as if they're going to get multiple because he's like saying we're just getting started. That would be even better if Philadelphia can get to the finals twice and get a championship. That would be great. But I think all they need to do is win one championship to solidify his legacy. But I gotta get ready for this interview, y'all. That was, that's that. I just wanted to come here and talk about that. But we'll be back next time. Until next time, pull up and see, pull up, check, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swim well.
I'm feeling good, feeling alright tonight. I'm feeling good now. Yeah, it's all good in the neighborhood, homie. Yeah, little ride. I feel good, I feel alright. Cruising through my neighborhood on a warm summer night. I feel good. That's right, I feel good now. These summer nights, summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Them summer nights, keep the top on, drop all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light, ain't nothing like them summer nights. I just kicked it at home, I polished up the chrome, called the Ruka on the phone, let her know I'm home alone. It's 7:30 and the sun's going down. It's a summer night and the fun's going down. I pick her up and she looks all dolled up, sitting passenger in my rag and Paula. Yeah, I let her know that she looks beautiful to me. The world's an ugly place, but she is such a sight to see. The kind of woman that would put up a fight for me. The kind that wants to spend the summer nights with me. The temp was 80 and I'm cruising with my lady, playing some Rafi Pagan. Ooh, baby, baby. I see my homeboys and the cruising in the ride with their ladies sitting by their side. People think we look crazy, but I think we look classy. But then again, that's only if you ask me. Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on, drop all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. My homeboys throwing the backyard boogie, so everybody gets together to unwind, relax, and have a fun time. The DJ spinning, so I grab the mic and be like, ain't nothing like them summer nights. The party's packed with beautiful women and a gang of the homies that wanna get with them. And they'll say anything just to hit them, and it's usually a nice summer night when they did them. I don't know, it must be something in the air. Can't help but have a good time because the feeling is there. To some people, the feeling is rare. They're at the past saying, God damn, I wish I was there. To have a drink, have a token, hook up with someone fine, but the kind that looks up. Gotta keep some pisto in the cup, party until the sun comes up, but we give up. Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on, drop all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light. Them summer nights can keep a smile on your face. Gotta try to have a good time with your life, otherwise it's just a waste. Either way, I'm gonna party just in case. Like Prince party like it was 99 and 87, 88. I couldn't ask for no better weather. I'm right next to the Pacific, to be specific. The candy paint job glows under the moonlight as I close out my summer night and say goodnight. It's time to put the top up and park it, drop it, unplug the ground, roll up the windows and lock it. Fuck in the pad and fall into bed as she lays on my chest to rest her sleepy head. And we do this all night long, from dusk till dawn. But it's not quite the same when summer nights are gone. But even when they're gone, it won't be long. 8 more months and once again it's on. Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on, drop all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop.